Hello everybody, today we have beautiful gaming laptop HP Omen 17CB series. It's an Intel Core i7 10th Gen laptop with RTX 2060 graphics. Let's take it apart, let's see what we can fix, replace or upgrade. So start with bottom screws. Now we have to separate the bottom case from the palm rest, so look for the gap where you can put your tool in and then start separating both parts. And use only plastic tool, otherwise you can scratch your parts. Now once you find a gap, work your way around the edge. So once you separate all the clips, you can take off the bottom. Here we have the part number. Now disconnect the battery. So unscrew the screws. Now we can take out the battery. So if the battery doesn't hold the charge or it's swollen, you can replace it. Here we have the part number and the battery type. Now here we can see our RAM memory. So if the memory doesn't work or you would like to upgrade to the bigger one, this is how you can do it. Spread those arms and you can take out the memory. Alright. Here we can see our Wi-Fi card. So if the Wi-Fi doesn't work, you can replace this card. Gently disconnect the antenna wires. And now take out the screw. So that's our Wi-Fi card. Here we have the model number. Now let's check our speakers. So if the sound is bad, you can replace your speakers. Unplug it from the motherboard and take out these two screws. Do the same on the opposite side. And you can take out the speakers. So if the sound is bad, you can replace your speakers. Here we have the part number. Now that's our storage. That's the hard drive. So unscrew these two screws and disconnect it from the motherboard. Two more screws on the side. And now we can take out the drive. Oh, actually that was empty. That's our caddy. Here we can mount the hard drive or the SSD drive as an additional storage. In our case, it was unoccupied. Let's check under this cover. So that's our SSD drive for storage. So if the laptop doesn't boot and tells you no boot device, or you would like to upgrade this drive, that's how you can do it. That's the NVMe SSD drive. Now let's look here. That's our DC power jack. So if your laptop isn't getting the power, or that jack is physically broken, you can replace it. Unscrew this one screw. Take off this bracket. Alright, so after I unplug it from the motherboard, now we can take it out. So that's our DC power jack. And here we have the part number. Now let's take off the heatsink and cooling fans. So if your laptop overheats and you would like to add cooling paste in between the heatsink and the chip, or the heatsink could be bent or clogged, or the fans don't spin, or they make grinding noise, this is when you can replace them. So unscrew all the screws for the heatsink and for the fans. Okay, now unplug the fan from the motherboard and take out the screw for the fan. Do the same on the opposite side. And now we should be able to take it off. Let's see. Be careful, the heatsink may be stuck to the motherboard because of the cooling paste. So gently lift it up, don't bend it. If you bend it, it won't work anymore. Alright, so this is how we can take out the heatsink fan cooling assembly. Here we have the part number. Here we can see our processor and the graphics. They both soldered on the motherboard. So if these don't work, you have to replace the whole motherboard. So now let's take out the motherboard and the I/O board. So unscrew all the remaining screws. Okay. Now let's unplug all the connectors. That's our keyboard, the touchpad. Okay, so there is some adhesive holding that ribbon for the I/O board. Okay, so this way we can take out the motherboard. Here we have the part number. And to disconnect the I/O board, disconnect this ribbon here. So that's our USB port and card reader. So if one of these doesn't work, you can replace this board. Here we have the part number. Okay, now let's check. That's our power button here. So if the laptop has bad power button, you can replace it. Unscrew these two screws here. And now we can take it out. So that's the power button board. Here we have the part number. Now let's disconnect our palm rest keyboard assembly from the screen. So unscrew the hinges. Now let's unfold the hinges. And now we can take off the palm rest touchpad keyboard assembly. Let's see if we can take out the touchpad. Okay, let's take off these screws. Okay, so those are our left and right mouse buttons. You can replace these if they don't work. But the actual touchpad is glued to the palm rest, so you cannot replace it. You would have to buy the whole palm rest keyboard touchpad assembly. The same with keyboard. The keyboard is riveted to the palm rest. You cannot replace it. You have to buy the whole assembly like that. If you're looking for parts, check gotlaptopparts.com. And now let's see our screen. So now let's take out the LCD. LCD is very fragile, but in our case, it's already defective. It has lines. So let's see how easy it is to replace the LCD. So look for the gap where you can put your tool in. And use only plastic tool, otherwise you will scratch the screen and other parts. So once you find the gap, disconnect all the clips. Sometimes you have to wiggle this plastic to disconnect it. And there's also adhesive that's holding the screen and the bezel together. It's very hard to disconnect everything without damaging the screen. Part of the bezel is out. Here we have the damaged piece on the top. Alright, so the bezel is out. That's our part number. Now to take out the screen, we have to pull out those adhesive strips. Be very careful, don't break that strip. You won't be able to take out the screen. Alright, one side is out. Okay. So now you should be able to lift the screen and disconnect the video cable on the back. Now just pull out the connector. So that's our screen. Here we have the model number. And that's our back cover with hinges, video cable and the webcam. Here we have the part number. If you need to take out the video cable, take out this hinge. And now we can take out the video cable if you need to replace it. Here we have the model number, the part number. Alright. Let's see if we can, oh, the webcam was easy to take out. Here we have the part number. Alright, thank you guys for watching. See you in the next video.